The reason why you started the business in the beginning was, yes, you loved what you were doing, but it was to create freedom for your family. I would say if you sat down 1,000 entrepreneurs of like why they started the business would be because they were passionate about the donut, the cupcake, whatever. I can't say I was passionate. I got the best whatever, a little salsa, a little enchilada, whatever. But then the other side of it is because I want to create freedom for my family, which that means equals money, because a business should be making money, or that's not really going to be a business.
We think big and we have vision and we say, oh, it'd be great if one day, or I would love to have this and I would love to have that. But like, if you're not actually putting things on your to-do list and doing them, accomplishing things to get there, then you're never going to get there. It's just always going to be this dream out here.
Welcome back to the Legacy Shift. We are so thankful, so grateful that you continue to join us on this journey. I'm Ben, and I'm with my beautiful wife, Kristen, and today's episode is all about when is it the right time to grow your business. Hope you enjoy. You know what's really challenging?
What is really challenging?
Being on a ladder with a paintbrush in my hand or spray gun and trying to grow a business.
I can imagine that is hard.
It's extremely hard. I think there's this caught up in the middle that so many business owners are currently stuck in, that they are the ones doing the work, have the vision for the growth, but don't grow past beyond what their capacity is because they find themselves stuck in the middle of the grind. And today, we hope that we can get some people out of that grinding, out stuck middle.
Get them unstuck.
Get them unstuck to a place where that they can start seeing that freedom so that they can spend more time with their family, spend more time with their marriage. Because that's another thing too, right? Like how many times I've been out there doing the thing, late nights, and then don't even get to see you, my honey buns, don't even get to go and see,
Or the kids
have
are
the
in bed
kids
before you
kids
get
are in
home.
bed. Like that's
Yeah.
terrible. That's
And then you leave before
I
they're awake.
absolutely hate that feeling, you know what I mean? And like it's all for providing for the family and doing all that, but like in these moments, like does it really matter? So we get stuck in these ruts and these moments, and we have the vision, we have the goal, and hopefully we can keep that in like the forefront of our mind of like we want to keep growing, we want to keep doing the thing, but then we're grinding, we're actually doing it, and it's just like how do you get out of that basically that motion that you're in that little hamster wheel to land a job, sell a product, find a new customer, and then now you're just kind of repeating that cycle. So how do you get out of that cycle? What would you say is the first thing that somebody should consider?
I think it comes down to, or maybe a good place to start would be thinking about the skills and the things that you could even like systematize to teach somebody that they could do for you so that you can be spending your time on the things that only you can do. So when it comes to like writing out procedures, standard operating procedures and guidelines for different things, and like step by step how to do different things, which I know we've done that over the years on your business. Like as you expand your crew, those key hiring positions that take the biggest load off of your back, but also just the stuff that you get kind of like stuck in the weeds doing that just takes so much time. So even like in the beginning, trying to do payroll yourself, trying to do taxes yourself, trying to do all those things that it takes to run a business yourself, and that might not even be your area of expertise, but you're trying to learn it, trying to figure it out, versus like, should I just hire this out so it's done the way it needs to be done, the most effectively, the most efficiently, and then I can spend my time doing what only I can do, which is have vision for the business, be growing, be networking, making connections, marketing, those kinds of things. So I think it kind of depends on like your personal skill set too, though, because some people might have no idea how to do social media but know that it's important. So it's like, should they waste their time trying to learn it and figure it out, or should they just hire a teenager, hire somebody that can get in and start doing those things? And obviously you have oversight to it. You know, there's so many details of it, but like you're overseeing, you're maybe setting the vision for what you want, but then you're constantly checking in. Let them do their thing, especially if they know what they're doing, but checking in and giving them feedback on things. And as you train them in how you want it, making sure that they're doing it how you want it to be done. And then you can trust them to run with it, so that your mind doesn't even have to go there anymore. You know that you have a social media presence because that person, you can trust that person to do it because they've proven it. And then you can spend your time on other things. So for some people, it might be social media, it might be marketing, it might be needing an assistant to help with returning phone calls and that kind of thing. Like we had talked about earlier, like when you're on the ladder on the side of a house, like you're not returning customers' phone calls.
Right.
You're not responding to the bid inquiry that just came in.
Shouldn't be. It's not safe.
Shouldn't be. It's not safe. Thank you. Let's
Thank
say
you.
that together.
Yeah.
But in that case, it's like you shouldn't necessarily be doing that either. Like
Right.
hiring someone that can return the phone calls and can do those things. So, I think it's like it's probably case by case depending on who the person is.
I
and
think
business.
to start with the biggest key, the first like where you are like, maybe there's a bunch of holes and you like need to hire, right? And it's like, okay, I would start with the very first thing that like I either am not good at, I suck at, I have no idea. It would take me, I have to learn it. That's the hire that you should do. Like, don't try to learn taxes if you don't know taxes.
Especially something that important.
That could
up.
really screw you over in the
Yeah.
end of the year. Like, dude, hire somebody. I mean, and here's the thing too, though. And then in your free time, you should kind of know numbers. You should know different like laws, and you're not going to know the whole book though, but you should know key laws. You should know what your money's doing. So you should know, like you should have like a fingerprint basically in every department of your business. So where you kind of know what's going on. And then just so you have that knowledge too. So like you can look at, some kind of product sheet or some data of something, whatever it is, like you can kind of look at it, scan it, like, okay, yeah, it's good, versus like not having any clue. And that person potentially could, screw you over or something like that. And then that's not good either. You know what I mean? So like having a fingerprint, but like not being fully invested in learning something that you have no idea. And there's so many capable people of doing that. And the cool thing is like, if they're terrible, then you get somebody else.
It's true. Let them go.
Yeah. Just like a tax person. Sometimes they don't work for you. They work for the IRS. And that's not the person that we want. We want a person that works for you and your company to help you in the long run, not somebody that's just looking out for the IRS, giving them more money because they have plenty of money coming in,
Yeah.
So I do like that because I like, and every business is a little bit different of like what your need is right now directly. But I think as a business owner, if you personally aren't being able to have that time to grow the business, or like being able to even just like sit alone for like an hour to like plan out like the month, plan out like the strategy for this quarter, then yeah, you need an assistant. You need to hire somebody, and which is scary, right? Hiring people,
Trusting people.
is,
yeah, especially if you don't know them.
yeah. And like this is like I think the next like the biggest thing. Okay, it's like you've identified that, okay, I need help, I want to grow, but now it's like, how do you hire that person? How do you make sure it's the right hire? How do you, especially for like a major role, right? Because sometimes like if you're in construction, like hiring labor, like that's somewhat easy. You might have to go through a couple guys and some of their silly resumes, and I got all kinds of stories on that. But like,
have resumes.
they may not even have a resume, and so you're gonna have to get through the silliness and how amazing they are in the interview. And it's like, okay, bro, can you just show up on time? And let's just start there first,
Yeah.
But if we could get to that place where we are hiring at a good rate, hiring the right hires, I think this is the key to like your freedom, your freedom of growth. And it just starts in one department, right? Because there's multiple departments, because as a business owner, you wear multiple hats, especially if you're a solopreneur, you're doing everything.
Yeah.
And like that's those tricky moments of like, because if you are doing the work, you're not doing the estimates because somebody's calling you, like you said, and you can't really necessarily get back to them. And you have a bigger company that has estimators, or somebody, or a business owner that has more freedom to go get that estimate done right now. Well, then you just lost out on that job because they just hired somebody that's available. Because sometimes, like, money is now, and like time is now,
Yeah.
and people kind of want their project done now.
Would you say sales is probably like the most important? Not necessarily the first one you hire, but something that, because I know like you kill it at sales. So it's either like your first hire needs to be someone that takes care of the business while you go do the sales, or it would be a salesman. Because at the end of the day, like if a business doesn't have sales, you don't have
You're
a business.
done. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the biggest thing that contributes to that is probably the highest priority.
Yeah, I think it's a balance, right? Because I personally, as a business owner, like, you should be good at sales. Like, if you're not, then that needs to be your first hire. Like, right now, this second, pause this episode and get on Indeed or whoever and get a salesperson, like, right now. Because as a salesperson, like, you should be able to walk into a room and go to a customer, go to a business, or where, whatever your current business is. Like, you should be able to like kill it. Supply, even like talking to suppliers and different people like that. Like, you should be able to like have that swag, have that confidence. And if you don't, then you all need to like DM us so that we can like help you and get you going in that. But yeah, so the problem is, here's the problem. I'll tell you the problem.
What's the problem?
The problem is, I could be great at sales and love it, but just because I'm good at it and love it doesn't necessarily mean I should be doing it. Because that's the balance too, right? Because if like I'm focused on the sales, doing estimates, let's just say I'm doing 5 estimates a day and I'm all over Portland Metro, in about an hour per estimate just for travel and everything else. And now like the whole day is pretty much chewed up, and then you're getting the estimates like typed in and then sending out, and then you have to, because like it's not just sales, right? Because then you have to like follow up, make sure, check in if you don't get it landed on the spot. So now you're having that whole entire sales game. So that's literally consuming my whole brain, right? So if that's consuming my whole brain, now I'm not thinking about the next thing, like of actually growing the company. Now, obviously we can't grow if we don't have sales. So there's that balance too. But on the flip side, if I hired somebody that was a shark and all he ate, slept, drank, thought, consumed his brain basically of sales, landing those jobs because he was on a highly paid commission. So that's how he's eating, is landing jobs. Now that's a huge weight off of my plate.
Well, and I feel like that's key because, like, even when you worked for other people and did sales, it was commission only. And so that when you're hungry and you want to eat, like, you figure out how to land the job. I feel like that's how you got so good at sales.
Right.
But it's almost like less risky than as an employer to start with a sale and to have a commission structure, because then it's not like you're paying them a salary.
Yeah.
And then you're out the money even if they're not good. It's like, so it's less risk almost, it feels like, to have a commission structure. Because the money, they don't get paid if the money's not coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And if the money's coming in, then you can pay them. So like, it's more, it's like an insurance policy.
Yeah, I mean, especially for some industries. I know some industries do like a little salary and a little stipend or something to kind of like help out, and which I get it too. But then you want to, like, you're a salesperson, like, you want them to be hungry. Because if they're not hungry, they're comfortable in the office, doing the thing, not really making calls, not following up, not landing jobs on the spot. Like,
they just like driving that company
They just
car.
like driving that little company car. It's like, bro, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, we need to be landing jobs. Mm-hmm. And that way, because if you have like just a great salesperson, then your focus too can be on production and getting that stuff, taken care of. Because production is obviously very important, because you need to get the jobs done that was landed. But it's just like this vicious cycle, I feel like, with business owners. So like having So saying even all that, somebody's probably like, oh my gosh, like then if you land all these jobs, then you have to do the jobs. So it's like, then you need a production manager. It's like, exactly, which would be your next hire. And so having that production manager and that person is got to be close to you. And that, I think even like the salesperson too, like I like just that thought of like kind of like challenging your salesperson like in the interview, like taking them out to dinner and like sabotaging it. Like, I think that's the coolest
What
thing.
do you mean sabotaging it?
I mean, like letting the manager know ahead of time that we're going to come, and then have that person's order get messed up and see how they respond. Like, do they blow the top off? Like, do they just like freak out? And because that's under pressure. Now you're feeling the pressure, like,
and problem solving.
problem solving. Do you care? Like, there's a balance, right? Did you even care? Did you even say something? How did you handle that conflict? So now it's like, you can put them into a little dicey situation, you know, or like or you take them out golfing, because sometimes things come out when you're golfing. You know what I mean?
I've heard stories.
The game ain't going good. You could see a side of somebody, that like little polished self. Even in the interview, actually, when we interview people, I like, you know, we have our list of questions that we ask and everything, but then, and there, you know, people come in like super polished in an interview, right? And I kind of like, I like to be, you know, be myself, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't want somebody else stuffy, and you know what I mean? And I get it, because you're trying to make a good impression too. But so I like to throw them off though a little bit, because like, especially like sales and different scenarios, if you're dealing with customers, things get wild out there. You know what I mean? So they're giving us the good old speech about who they are, and they're answering the questions good. And
my weakness is I'm a perfectionist.
Right, all the things, and you're reading their personality chart that they took that test. And, okay, tell me more about this. And then I like flip the script on them and say just something random. Like one that I love is, if money wasn't an issue, you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing right now? And then to see their face, they're like, wait, what? What? I'm asking you, what would you do?
You're asking me right now?
Yeah.
I'm not prepared.
Exactly.
I would travel with family, see all the beautiful places, all the expensive places. That's where I'd go.
Yeah.
And bring people with us.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I would continue to run a business.
Oh, because you love it.
Because I love
a
it.
great answer.
And I have endless capital. I can just grow and keep going running businesses. This is my answer. There's like no...
What answer are you looking for?
I'm looking for somebody that says, like, there's not really a wrong or right one, but something that's like they still have motivation to do something. Because I've heard this before from somebody who said, like, I'd buy myself a really nice barbecue and just be by the water and just never leave. It's like...
So that's the kind of guy that can't wait to clock out at the end of the day.
Right. See, exactly. Yeah. So it's like...
you can see their motivators.
Yeah. Like,
are they driven?
Are you driven? Even if everything was... So, like, everything's rolling good, like, you're still going to be out there grinding. And if everything is not going good, you're going to be grinding even harder, too. So that's just kind of a balance. So it just kind of throws some people off. I just like it. I think it just kind of gets people out of their little, you know, box of like what an interview should look like. So growing your business. So the hiring is tricky. 2025, people
talk about it.
Are strange.
Yep.
People
real strange. They
got demands. I don't know. Maybe is it just because we're in Oregon? Or
that could have something to do with it.
Very
near Portland.
In Portland.
The headlines you read.
The headlines.
We're not all like that, just for the record.
We are famous, though.
That's a very small demographic of the Oregon population.
But I don't know if it's maybe just our population where we're at. I don't know. But hiring sometimes can be tricky.
What was your last well, I won't say guy. I don't want to give it away here. When the person said I quit, what was their reason? Tell the people.
Okay, so I had this younger though, right? Yeah. So they were younger, and this wasn't working out. Really wanted to try it.
Working a couple months, right?
Yeah, they really wanted to try it, give it a shot. So they thought this was the thing that they wanted to do, and I always give somebody an opportunity. I like, you know, hey, if you want it, like, let's go, you know.
You questioned if she could carry a paint bucket in the beginning,
right?
And she could. She figured it out.
Yeah. But the problem was, so she quit, And I guess we said it was a girl now.
She quit. Yeah.
She quit, and basically her reasoning was because of her cat. She found something better because of her cat. She just
cat.
really missed her cat. So
Portland, 2025.
This is 2025. We're dealing with people. So yeah, just kind of dealing with people like that, you know, and then just the inconsistency of people showing up. So I think it is very discouraging as a business owner when you can have you feel like this is the person, this is going to be the one that's take us to the next level, and in 3 months they're gone, and it's the craziest reasons. They just randomly found the drug problem or moved or
running from legal system.
Yeah, running for legal stuff, baby mama drama. Now we get a call from the county jail, and they're in jail saying they're not going to be able to make it anymore, and just all the crazy stuff. You're just like, what in the world? Can we just get somebody normal up in this place? So in that context, it's very discouraging at times, especially as you're growing, as you're trying to expand and you have this goal and this vision, and it feels like you just keep getting like pushed back down. You're like climbing this hill, right? You get to the top, you're just like, nope, not today. Start back over again. But I think that's just the thing, is like, that's the thing, is like, you just got to keep going and keep going, because eventually you're going to find those people, and then that person knows somebody, and then, you know, there's like those connections that are made. This guy has a brother that has a cousin or whatever, and then, you know, all of a sudden now crews are being formed, employees are coming in, and then you're starting to get things done. And then as you're getting things done, more capital's coming in. Well, if you have more capital coming in, then you can offer more nicer bonuses, different insurance stuff for your employees, which then now you can get people to come in. So like in the beginning stages, it could be very tough to like get people in and just keep getting bulldozed over, but like to keep pushing through that, like there is grass on the other side.
Green grass.
Greener?
Grass is greener.
The grass is greener?
Not really.
I don't know. There's flowing meadows on the other side with beautiful streams.
Flowing meadows. To speak to the discouragement side, though, because I feel like that's probably really real, and I've seen that in you in different seasons of like, you invest so much into somebody and train them and get them just now to the place where like they're doing it how you want it, and then they leave. And then the next one comes in and it's like, you can't hold against this person what tough. The last one did.
Yeah.
And yet that frame of mind that like, if you keep the perspective that you're getting better every time you train someone and you're sending them out into, you know, like wherever they go, there's a little, like you're talking about, your fingerprint, like you taught them integrity, you taught them character, you taught them about a job well done, and the like effects of hard work and discipline and things like that. So like they're leaving better, hopefully, if you're doing a good job and like being giving it your all with each person, they're leaving out into the world better. And so like trying to feel good about that, I guess, but like also looking internally that you're getting better at training every time you train a new one. And sometimes you get real good because there's been so many.
Yeah.
And so just treating each one as a new individual person and not holding grudges against the new one because of all the times people flaked out on you.
You have to like reset your mind. You have to refocus, and okay, this somebody is completely new, but guess what? Now we have better interview questions.
Yeah.
We're going to train them faster because now we know the little tricks and things that like we need to do. Our SOP is a little bit tighter, a little bit more detailed, because now we know like this will fast track that person to getting success.
Yeah. And
culturally wise, I think that comes back to setting that culture for your business. Like, what are because sometimes like some of your first couple hires, you can be so picky because like it's your baby, right? When it's like, okay, did that really actually matter? The thing that they were complaining about that bugged you, did that really matter? No. As long as it stayed in the culture of your company. So meaning like you actually need to write that down as like for culture, like what you define your culture and your company.
And like your company standards.
Right. And then so as long as it falls in line with that, then it didn't really matter. You know, if so-and-so wanted I don't know. We had a guy that was always complaining about like the gear that we'd give him, one different color and stuff. I'm like, bro, this guy's always complaining about whatever. Did it matter? Like, is it the end of the world? No, it didn't. He was just a blessing, you know what I mean? And honestly, like to this day, like I wish he would come back. But what was cool though, he started his own business and stuff. So, but like in that, but then you like look back and you're like, he was just a silly guy. He was just a goober. You know what I
Or
mean?
growing. Like everyone, you get them in all
Yeah.
different seasons. Like maybe they're just starting, maybe they're in a weird season.
We have these high standards for people in our own minds that it's like we're holding up to these expectations that maybe they've been treated like trash their whole life.
Yeah.
And like they're just trying to like take care of their family or like trying to set a new course for their own life. And like think about like that great responsibility that you have as a business owner to speak a life into somebody.
Yeah.
Like I love it that you said that. Like whether it is maybe for 3 months. Well, for 3 months they get life spoken into them. Like to be encouraged, to be uplifted, to like not be talked down to. Like, and I think that's what throws a lot of people off. Like for instance, for us, for our construction company, is because we're different. Like we're not out there cussing at everybody. We're not just putting you down every second that we get in a lot of construction sites. Like that's how the culture is. Like you have to suck it up. You have to man up, and you have to get out there and just get it done. And if you're not, then you're blank, 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 you know. But like we don't do that here. It's not how we talk. We don't treat you like that. And in return that we expect the same, you know. And I think it throws a lot of guys off too, that they're just like they mess up and like, all right, no big deal.
Yeah.
Versus like they thought we're gonna blow the top off because you messed up, bro. Things happen. It's not a big deal. Let's just fix it. Like everything is fixable, even if you drop a ladder through someone's car window or a window of a house. It just sucks because it's more expensive. I don't actually personally know that, but like it's always just
things have happened.
It's always a thing that like.
But even like the girl that didn't last with the cat, like that short season that you had, like she's gonna be able to look back and remember that you guys were different. Like you gave her a chance when she had no experience. And exactly what you're saying, the work environment was peaceful. It was like there was awesome music that was being played that wasn't filled with profanity, and the way you related with customers and the way you treated her, like all of that. I think that's more important ultimately than business, than the business side of it. So maybe she just wasn't cut out to be a painter.
Yeah.
That's probably something you knew when you hired her.
Yeah. 100%.
And yet you gave her a chance. And so like that spoke to her, even if she can't articulate that. So, and also like when the new ones come in, like you never know which one's going to stick around. And so
it's
if you
the
treat
randomest
them
thing.
Dumb in the beginning or blah, or you don't invest into them, they're going to leave because they want more. They want the higher standard. They want the attention and the training and all those things. And if you treat them like they're just another person that's going to leave, then you're going to lose them too. And so it's like, give them the benefit of the doubt and treat each person like a new person.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. And we've grown a ton in that. And I think it's just like a matter of like having the ups for it. Cause once you have the up and then you go through that person, and then I think especially as you first get started, like your first assistant, like you put all that effort, all that pouring all that love and that like the bonus and the lunches and all the things, and then that person like leaves, and like you can take that really personal, and like hurts. It's like
they left you.
Yeah, like it's like no, like
business.
It was nothing about you, because it could have just been like maybe it was a better offer somewhere else because at this time you weren't able to pay, or they did have a family emergency and they had to move or whatever. I mean, life hits everybody, and so you can't take things personal like that, and because we don't know what everybody's going through. Even when we think we might know somebody, like we don't know what's going on at their house. Like we don't live with them. You know what I mean? So I think it's just continue to hire, keep it going, and eventually they stick around. You know what I mean? And then that's when we start growing that successful business that everybody dreams about. So what would you say so after hiring, you've got your hires. What would you say is the next step to creating a successful business that sees you not being hands-on?
That the business sees that?
Yeah.
Or the person, the team? I think vision's a big one, and like constant check-ins and reminders of like what our vision is. So I even think like with the painting company, like the frequent team meetings of like we all rally together and like what's the point of this? What is our mission? We're impacting, like it's not just about painting a house, it's about creating the future for people. It's about giving them a better quality of life because now they love their home and their space, and then getting to have that influence on them as people, like speaking vision that's beyond just like the practical thing we do or the service that we offer is like how you get people to buy in. Because I think probably one of the biggest hurdles that people have when it even comes to hiring is like no one will ever care as much as I do. And so when it comes to quality, when it comes to how you talk to customers, like if you've been the solo person the whole time and then you're giving that control to someone, they represent your company, they represent ultimately you, and they have an attitude with a customer, or they don't package that thing just right, or they put that thing in there that like I never would have given that to a customer. And it's like at the end of the day, you have to figure out what's more important. Like even I'm just thinking our donut shop friend, he will not, I mean, he's employed like some of his kids, but like, because we've invited him to church before. We've been working on him for a few years. We go visit him. I've done design work for him. And we just have this relationship now. It's like lifelong free donuts, which is very cool. The kids love this business relationship. But every time we've invited him to events and stuff and tried to invite him to church, he's an immediate, he'll kind of like ask questions a little bit, but then it always goes back to, I can't leave. I cannot leave this place. I work at he opens it or starts work at like 4 a.m. and he's there until like 4 or 5 at night or something. I can't remember his hours, but like it's 24/7. It's 7 days a week. He's a donut shop. So like he's got to be up early and all that stuff. And so like he can't ever leave because he doesn't trust anyone else to give the experience that he does. And if you read the Yelp reviews, every single person mentions him by name.
Yeah.
Or that guy that was there, he gave us extra donuts. Like, and you read the reviews in there, it's amazing. Like 5-star, everyone loves it. They have the most incredible experience with him and their interactions with him. He remembers them. And it's like, if that's most important to him, then he's a slave to that counter. Like he cannot leave that building.
Yeah.
And so if he's not willing to, and if that's the life he wants, then so be it. Like that's everyone's choice, you know? But it's like, what's your quality of life then? If at the end of your life, like you don't get to go to your kids' school functions because you're working. Well, how does that look for your marriage? How does that look for retirement ever? Like if you can't ever leave the property for a couple hours to go do something on your own, then like what's your quality of life? Yes, you have great Google reviews and people love your business, but like at the expense of you enjoying your life, is that worth it? And so maybe someone didn't get their bonus free donut because I left and I let that kid handle the cash register and he forgot to put it in. But like, that's okay, right? You know, like, so it's just, it's up to every person what you want out of life. And I think that's so much of, obviously, the legacy shift is like, it's beyond business. Business is just an avenue to create the life that we want to live and to supply the family for the things that we want to do together ultimately, because that's what we believe is most important.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to each individual person's like, what do you want out of it and what are you willing to give up in order to get what you want most?
Yeah. That's really good. I think because I look at even my dad, right? My dad was in painting, construction, and I mean, he was a worker. Like he was a hardworking man, grinding it out, especially in the summertime. It's like go time for like guys in construction and stuff, right? But he was enslaved to that. He was enslaved to, because like as you know, in theory, right, if you're a contractor, if you're not working, that means you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
That's the small end. That's the little way to think about running a business, a construction business. If I'm not working, I'm not getting paid.
If your hands aren't
If
doing
my
it,
hands aren't working, I'm not getting paid. But what if we flip that and said, if my hands aren't working, I'm still getting paid and running a construction business? Like we're upsetting like the norm. We're upsetting like that small mentality thinking to where we can go on vacation and things are still getting done. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing that like we've created enough wealth in the company that pays me a salary that like I'm still getting my monthly check, even when I'm not physically being out there up and down a ladder on roof lines and doing and grinding it out like I was in the beginning. Like that's a freedom that I feel like most business owners want, like when they start a business. And I feel like there's some passion projects, right, where you start a business because you're passionate about whatever it is. But eventually as you grow, like that's that freedom, because you're the reason why you started the business in the beginning was, yes, you loved what you were doing, but it was to create freedom for your family. I would say if you sat down 1,000 entrepreneurs of like why they started the business, would be because they were passionate about the donut, the cupcake, whatever. I can't say I was
I got the
passionate.
best recipe.
I got the best whatever,
Yeah.
a little salsa, a little enchilada, whatever, but then the other side of it is because I want to create freedom for my family,
Which is money.
which that
Bringing in the
means
money.
equals money,
Yeah.
because a business should be making money, or that's
It's
not
not a
really going to be a
business,
business.
it's a
It's
hobby.
yes. And so having that mindset and keeping that in the forefront of your meetings, how you talk to people when you're building, when you're dreaming, like this, how do we get there? This is I this is one of the coolest things that I heard this business coach, kind of mega author, and he says, where do you want to be at the end of retirement, or even where do you want to be this time next year? What does your life look like? It's X amount of dollars, it's freedom from the office, it's vacation with the family. And then it's like, okay, let's reverse engineer how to get there. So you start with this is my goal. This is where I want to be. This is how much I want to be making. This is I want vacation on spring break with the family. I want to go on winter break vacation I want a summer vacation with the family. I want to be making X amount of dollars a year this time next. Okay, well, all right, that's great. And what yours is, whatever it is, like whatever you can believe for, but let it be big so that you can actually like achieve a big dream.
Yeah.
Just a side note. But so you get there, and now we're reverse engineering how we get there.
That's good.
And it's just like this biggest unlock that I had, like listening to that. I'm just like, man, creating the freedom that you want. Okay, you have the goal, you have the vision, either write it down, do a huge poster, whatever you have to do, right? And okay, how do we get there? And then you start just working back the process, reverse engineering how to get to your goal.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to change how you hire. That's going to change how your cash flow, how you manage that, the decisions that you make about your cash flow. I'm just kind of jumped right into cash flow because that's an important thing about growing your business.
You don't have cash, you don't have business either.
So I think, keeping that like kind of on the forefront of your mind of like how you want to grow and where you want to be. And then just keep like this in line with where we want to be.
Well, and I think it makes it so much easier to tackle, like when you have actionable items. So even like you just said, I want to be able to go on vacation with my family. Like if that's during the summer. Well, in a painting business, summer's like go time.
Right.
So for you to be able to take a week off in the summer, you're going to have a crew that's still doing the jobs. And they're going to need to have a level of competency that they can do it on their own with you out of the state or country.
Right.
And without having to call and check in for you to actually get a true vacation. So then in order to have a fully operating crew, you're going to need to start.
Not just a crew, but a business.
Yeah. But like you're going to have to hire them. They're going to have to be fully trained. So like backtracking that is like, when does their start date need to be so that they have this many months of on the job, like shadowing with somebody, like hands-on training with someone, and then trusting them on their own. And maybe I let them lead this job for the first time on their own. It's like reverse engineering that to like practical, like, okay, by this date, then they need to be at this place. And so it's an easier, like when you're looking at the because it can be so much. I think we think big and we have vision and we say, oh, it'd be great if one day, or I would love to have this and I would love to have that. But like if you're not actually putting things on your to-do list and doing them, accomplishing things to get there, then you're never going to get there. It's just always going to be this dream out here. But so when you have something that you can make a list and check these things off and say, by June 15th, I need to have 3 new people hired. Well, okay, then by June 1st, I should probably have the job postings blasting everywhere and all those things. Like, I just think as like from the planning side, that makes it so much more practical to actually put feet to what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then actually accomplish it. Not just like at the end of your life, you retire or hopefully retire and say like, oh man, I wish, you know, I always wanted to be able to take vacation, but we never got there. I always had to do it myself. Well, it's because you didn't actually do the things that needed to happen to get there. So just like actually getting stuff done. And I think that's a lot of people, especially like if you're a dreamer or if you're someone that loves to imagine things and like think about, and, you know, like we love to sort of dream about things, but it's like if you don't have that person in the relationship or you both like sitting down actually making a plan, then all it's ever going to be is a dream. And so how do we make action items out of this so that we actually will be there and we'll be able to look back and it's like, I'm so glad that we planned that out the way that we did. And then it's less stressful and it's more attainable. Like it makes your dream attainable when you see it's just a series of steps I need to complete to get there.
Seeing them getting checked off.
Yeah.
See them getting checked off and you're like, okay,
it's
wait
like
a minute.
Momentum.
Like, we're
this
getting,
is working.
This is what the goal is. The whole purpose.
I'm growing.
Yeah. I think because when you're in the grind, you're like nose down doing it. Like having those little checks to like almost like fresh breaths of air, right?
Yeah.
To like a little check, like, wait, like, no, we're doing it. Like, this is the point. Like you start saving, like, because you need cash flow. So you don't want to like be in debt and spending your money unwisely. And so like you put it in a high yield account or whatever you have to do for your business, right? And you start seeing it grow. You're like, wait, end of the month, like we had extra money. We had an extra X amount of dollars, the goal that you had. Like if you had a goal of we had $100,000 extra in the account, and it's like, then that month that you finally hit the extra 100,000, you're like, wait, the business account has 100,000. Like we're positive. We're like payroll's done, bills are everything. Like wait, this is what we're dreaming about. This is what the goal is, and it's like that momentum. And then so I feel like businesses hit momentum at certain times, and then you have to ride it. You have to ride that momentum, like whether it's a good hire. Well, if it's a good hire, bro, you better hook that person up. Like this is like, and I think that's the thing. Like we can get so selfish too, but like no, like as a business owner, like that if you have a great hire. I mean, our main number one man, our guy that's been with me for my ride or die guy, right? He's experienced life through me. Like just like I think we were doing a job in Seattle once, and we were doing this hotel, and we were smelling all the smells because it was like smelling good down there, downtown Seattle. It's not downtown Portland. I said downtown Seattle. Oh, different smells. Better? In the area that we were in.
Oh, okay.
So it was like smelling like food and stuff, and I was like, have you ever had, what's the finest steak that you've ever had? Like, have you ever had like a fine dining experience? And he looked at me and said, yeah, I've been to Sherry's. I said, Sherry's? Now, for those of you who aren't from Oregon, Sherry's is kind of like just like an IHOP or like a Denny's.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually all went bankrupt. They all
like
shut down.
Like a little pancake house kind of.
Yeah. Like a little.
But chain.
But Oregon. Yeah. Anyways.
Not somewhere you'd go for a steak.
Not a steakhouse. Oh. I said, bro, what? So I just did a little search and found like this 5-star place down the road. And so I said, all right, dude, we got done with that day. And then I said, I'll meet you down in the lobby. I'm taking you to like your best experience ever. And we went to the steakhouse. First of all, he came downstairs in the hotel and he's wearing like a Hurley shirt and t-shirt. I'm like, bro, you got anything? That's not gonna work. I was like, you got anything else? And he's just said, this is all I got. So I checked really fast to make sure they didn't have a dress code, which they didn't, because it's Northwest people. Like Northwest isn't like everybody else, everywhere else. We just kind of dress how we want to. So we showed up. The guy, it was a type of place that put the napkin on your lap, and he grabs the guy's hand because he was like, reaching down and putting a napkin on his lap. I was like, bro,
I wish this whole thing was on video.
I wish so too.
I can't get enough of hearing this story.
It's literally like in my brain, and it's just like this highlight moment. And grabs the thing, right? They bring out the bread, little crumbs on the bread. They come and get the crumbs off the table during the meal. He's just like, what in the world? He got him a salad. the freshest salad I've ever had. You know, this dressing, oh my gosh. And the appetizer, you got to get the appetizer if you're going to go to a place like that, you know. So a little like shrimp and this and that. So then we get that steak. I think you got the, like a filet mignon or something with wrapped in bacon and but aged so many days and soaked in all these sauces and it's every single bite. It was just like, oh my gosh, you know, just like to this day. That was
years ago,
7 years ago, something like that. He still talks about that today, and he'll tell other employees that. And then that's his thing. Have you ever had a good steak? Like, you know, and that's his standard, right?
I'm not talking Sherry's.
I'm not talking Sherry's here. And that's like his, and obviously we've done so many other things, you know, he's got to, we've really like just spoil them and stuff. But like just those moments, you know, like when you can take time with like your employees, like, cause like you see the big, like they've bought in, like when somebody buys into your vision as a business owner, like you've won. Because that person is there for you. And maybe it's not for their entire life, but like some people are super loyal people. Mm-hmm. And all they need is either a chance or they just need you to, just believe in them.
Yeah.
And then just show them that you care.
Yeah.
And like the moment you do that, it's like they're all in. And then sometimes they do leave. Sometimes it's like, what? I did all this stuff and it like, you remember, like we said, you got to just wash that off your memory bank, and just keep going and keep, hooking up your employees.
Well, and I think it's like valuing people because they're people, not just valuing them so that they stick around. And so, like your heart in that was like just to be a blessing to him, like just to give him this really cool opportunity, and like that he obviously felt that he's still talking about it, you know. And it's like investing in the person, not just the skills. Not just what they can do for the business, but like who they are. And so the growth, like to have a front row seat, like in his life, and he's married now. And I don't know, it's just been the cool, like he's literally family to us, like the kids. And it's just really cool, like the relationship that we have. And so it can go beyond just business and making money and clocking in and clocking out. Because ultimately, if you want people to care, like they can't help but care when you care for them in a genuine, real way. And so I think that's one of the reasons like he has stayed and been so loyal over the years is because like our family's been able to be there for him, which has been so cool.
Yeah.
And so those kinds of things, like building up the person, not just for what you can get out of them, but because that, back to that perspective that I'm trying to just make, and as a believer, even especially, you know, like we're trying to make a mark on, like leave a mark on people, be a light to people everywhere we go. And it's so easy to stand out in the business world when you just care about people, walk in integrity, honor people, respect people, and give them the value and dignity that they deserve. Like they can feel that, and they can feel when it's genuine, and why wouldn't they stay, you know? And so then in that situation where if they were to leave because of different seasons of life or whatever, like they will always have good fond feelings about the business and about you, and the relationships last forever. Yeah.
And in that too, like no matter where you're at, like sometimes you might say as like a business owner, like, well, I have 100 employees, like it's impossible to do that. But like it starts with your core people. Because then if you train your core people with that culture, then they're doing that too. So it's like you're spreading it out. Like that's from literally the top down, like everybody's treated that way.
Yeah.
But it starts with you and your main person, you and then your top 5, and then you and your top 10, you and your top 50. You know, it starts with that. And then those people that are the people that are under them, then they should be able to, that same culture that you set with them, it should be like infiltrated all the way through the very first hire that just started at day one. Like it should all be felt like that. I know there's like, this was years ago. I did this interview with this company. I was trying to be like a project manager or something like that. And I just remember sitting in the interview. It was like a panel full of people. And I think there was like 5 or 6 of them. And it was such a cool experience. Like the vibes that they were like, it was just like a family feel. It seemed like they were all friends. Like it was like the most chillest interview I've ever had in life. I'm just like, and I already kind of had a feeling I wasn't going to get it, because I think it was just like, we have to throw this out there, but we're going to give it to somebody that's already in the company, because the guy was there and he already knew everybody. which was whatever. When I left, I was like, I'm not just saying this to like suck up to you guys, but like y'all are super cool. Like whatever like culture like you guys created, like this is awesome. Like I just wanted to like jump in as maybe this is my passionate self or whatever. Like I'm like, this is awesome. And so fast forward to starting my business, I was like, that culture, I was like, dude, I want that culture for us. Like, you and the kids bring in baked goods to the crews that are out there working, or we have little company get-togethers, or we go to Topgolf, or we whatever it is. Like I want that culture, that family culture, to just stick with everybody. I want whenever they come in contact with us, or whether it's for 3 months or they've been here for 7 years, like it's like you're part of the family, and deciding that culture. And so you have to determine that. You have to determine what your culture is, and you have to just write it down is the best way. Write it down and then just stick to it.
And say it all
and
the time.
Even when it doesn't feel like it, even when you got a bunch of crazies, like, nope, this is the standard, this is our culture, and this is what we're doing, because you have already reverse engineered everything of your goal of where you wanted to be. And that culture is key to growth and success, so that you can be free from being hands-on in your business. And even, I wanted to speak to this, even if you might say there might be one part of your business that you just like really love doing. Well, if somebody else can do it like 80% better, hire that person.
Well, 80% as good.
Yeah. I mean, 80% as good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's good.
You should let them do it. You should hire it, because 80% is still really good and it's getting it done. And then what does that do? It frees you up for being able to do, things that the business actually needs that's been like kind of lacking in different areas. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We really hope that it shined some light on, maybe even encouraged you to step out and get your business to the next level. Hey, have you subscribed yet? Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with us. We'll see you next time.